gotten it was at one of these motivational speeches was asking questions. And oh my gosh, that was like a life-changing thing for me in terms of how easy. I mean, it's a technique, but it couldn't be more easy or natural to do that. And so I usually start out with, what are called open-ended questions. And, when you're in the closet, well, what do you want to change about this closet? Or what do you like or what don't you like? There's a ton of them that you can use. But, sometimes people don't know. And so, they're floundering around and they're thinking I'm going to tell them what they like. So in order to help them out, I switched to closed questions like, well, did you want to increase the hanging? Yes. So then it starts to open up. Then they can start to think about maybe what they would want to change. You want to get your shoes up off the floor. Wouldn't it be great to have your drawers in here so we could have one-stop dressing? That sort of thing. Listen more than you talk, which is really hard for a lot of salespeople because, we like to talk. But, they don't really care about you and your stuff. They want to be the focus. And I know personally that when I have somebody come to give me a bid on something or something, I kind of like it when, I'm the center of attention, or they, if they're a good salesperson, they'll make me feel that way. Not only ask the questions, but listen to the answers and, take notes and write stuff down because I always think I'm going to remember, but I don't. So that's part of the reason we created that cheat sheet, basically. I also try to incorporate their ideas, which I think I talked about earlier, but, if there's no reason it won't work, then why not? Don't make no your first response. If you don't know whether or not you can do something, I always go to somebody else and ask. A lot of times, if possible, I'll try to call one of my coworkers right there, then and there, to find out if we can get this or if we can do that. And then be creative. Be organized. A few years ago, I decided I was going to embrace technology, which to me meant going from Franklin Covey thing to putting my calendar on my computer. I think I put a copy of that in the handouts too, but I just love it. And it's, just the whole month is on one piece of paper, and you can color code things. So I have all the installations is one color, all the appointments is another color, new construction checks is another color, home is another color. But I mean, oh my gosh, talk about organization. You can really see exactly what you're doing. And I'm still not too technical because I carry this piece of paper around with me, and I'm constantly updating it with notes, and then I fill it in on my computer. But I print it out maybe once or twice a week. And then they also have, the whole day page, and that's become my daytime. Being organized is very important. I am always ready to work. I have a little, not pamphlet, but a little folder that I carry that has my tape, or my not my adding machine, my, calculator, and pens and all that, so that if I'm sitting in front of somebody's house waiting for them, I can work on something else. I mean, I'm always ready to work. Between appointments, I don't go shopping. It always seems like it'd be a good idea, but I don't. Between appointments, I'm always working so that I can stay caught up. Do what you say you're going to do. That seems easy too. This is something we had kind of a long discussion about the last appointment, is if you're not able to close on the first time, how often do you call the people and how many times do you call the people? I call them basically forever. I mean, I think that's one thing that a lot of people do is give up too soon. They'll either, and I've had, just recently got a big job. She said, Sue, did you think this was a decent job for you? I was like, well, yeah. It doesn't matter how big it is. They're all decent jobs to me. And she said, well, can you believe that the other person didn't even call me back? I'm like, you're kidding. And it was like, we're talking in the $20,000 range. So, how could you put all that time and effort and then not even bother to call them back just because you couldn't close them on the first time or whatever? So I am what I call pleasantly persistent. And I'll call people back and, and if I do reach them and they'll maybe apologize for not, getting back to me or whatever. And I just say, don't worry, I'm just pleasantly persistent. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to call you again if you're still not ready. It would be all right if I called you in a week or a month or whatever it happens to be. But I mean, there's some people, I maybe call 20 times, you know, and then eventually they do it, you know, so you can't just give up too soon, which I think a lot of people do, because they're not very patient. And I'm very patient.